First contact, Maya Chen rubbed her tired eyes as she calibrated the scanner one more time. 3 weeks aboard Harmony 7, and she still hadn't adjusted to the station's artificial day-night cycle. As the leading xenobiologist on the human science contingent, she couldn't afford mistakes, especially not when examining the lunary biormor. "Dr. Chen, your lunary subject has arrived," announced the lab's AI assistant. Maya turned to find a tall, imposing figure standing in the doorway. The lunary warrior's skin had a subtle purple hue that seemed to pulse slightly with each breath. Maya had studied the species extensively, but nothing compared to seeing a lunari up close, especially one wearing the legendary symbiotic armor that had made their race famous across 3 star systems. "I am Ziraval's 3rd Battalion, Stellar Guard," the lunari announced, her voice melodic yet authoritative. "I understand you require examination of my resonant suit." Maya nodded, trying not to stare at the intricate patterns flowing across the living armor that clung to Ziraval's form. "Yes, thank you for volunteering. I'm Dr. Maya Chen." "I did not volunteer," Ziraval corrected, stepping forward. "Commander Rex ordered my participation. He believes scientific cooperation benefits our alliance." "Well, I appreciate it anyway," Maya said, gesturing to the examination platform. "The scan is non-invasive. I just need to analyze how the biomore responds to various stimuli." Ziraval removed her outer cloak, revealing the full extent of her armor, a second skin of swirling purple and blue that pulsed with its own rhythmic life. Maya noticed how the armor seemed perfectly formed to the lunari's body, with no visible seams or fastenings. "The procedure?" Ziraval asked, positioning herself on the platform. "Just stay still while I calibrate the quantum resonance scanner." Maya adjusted the settings, fascinated by the readings already appearing on her monitor. "The armor, it's alive, isn't it?" Ziraval's expression softened slightly. "Yes, we call it Solarancel Partner. It chooses us in adolescence and grows with us until death." Maya carefully positioned the scanner above a particularly intricate section of the armor near Ziraval's shoulder. "And it responds to your thoughts?" "To everything. Thoughts, emotions, biological functions. It is ... intimate." The scanner hummed softly as Maya moved it across the armor's surface. "The bioelectric patterns are incredible. Like nothing I've suddenly..." The scanner emitted a high-pitched whine. Maya lunged to shut it down, accidentally brushing her fingers against Ziraval's armor. A spark of violet energy crackled between them. The armor's patterns shifted dramatically, flowing like liquid light toward Maya's touch. Ziraval gasped, her eyes widening in what looked like shock or alarm. "Neverish, what have you done?" "I'm sorry. Did it hurt you?" Maya pulled back, but not before noticing the armor now pulsed in time with her own heartbeat. "Not pain," Ziraval whispered, staring at the glowing patterns now spreading across her armor. "But ... impossible. The armor is forming a Corin bond. A mating resonance." "A what?" Maya stepped back as the room's alarm suddenly blared. Ziraval looked at her with a mixture of wonder and confusion. "The armor believes we are compatible mates. It has activated the bonding protocol." Maya's monitoring equipment went wild, showing synchronized patterns between her own neural readings and the armor's pulses. "But that's not possible. I'm not even the same species." "The armor does not recognize species," Ziraval said as security personnel appeared at the door. "It recognizes compatible souls. We must be quarantined until this is understood." As medical staff rushed in, Maya watched the purple glow spreading through the armor, beating in perfect time with her own racing heart. Synchronized heartbeats, the quarantine chamber hummed with the steady drone of monitoring equipment. Maya paced the small space, occasionally glancing at Ziraval, who sat cross-legged on the floor, eyes closed in meditation. It had been 36 hours since the incident, and the purple luminescence of the Lunari's armor continued to pulse in perfect synchronization with Maya's heartbeat. "Your agitation disrupts my concentration," Ziraval said without opening her eyes. "Each emotional spike you experience resonates through the bond." "What?" Maya stopped pacing. "Sorry. I'm just not used to my vital signs being broadcast via alien armor." "The Corin bond is sacred among my people," Ziraval explained. Finally looking at Maya is not merely a biological function, but a spiritual connection. The armor has recognized something in your essence that complements mine. Maya sat down across from her. But that doesn't make sense. Your species evolved on a planet with 3 moons and high radiation. Mine evolved on Earth with completely different biological imperatives. Perhaps the armor sees beyond such differences. For the first time, a hint of a smile touched Ziraval's lips. It is ... unexpected. The intercom crackled. Dr. Chen, Commander Rex, demands an update on your condition, announced Dr. Patel, the station's chief medical officer. Maya glanced at Ziraval, noting how the warrior's posture had stiffened at the mention of Rex's name. Tell him the bond persists, but all vitals are stable. After the intercom clicked off, Maya leaned forward. You tensed up when Rex was mentioned. Why? Ziraval's gaze fell to the floor. Commander Rex and I were to undergo the Varashtha formal bonding ceremony upon our return to the Lunari homeworld. It was arranged by our clan elders to strengthen military alliances. An arranged marriage, Maya translated. But not one you wanted? Want is irrelevant in matters of duty, Ziraval answered. Though the sudden flare of her armor betrayed stronger emotions than her words suggested. Though I admit I have found his presence uncomfortable. Maya reached out instinctively, then hesitated. May I? Ziraval nodded, and Maya carefully placed her hand near the armor. Immediately, the purple glow intensified, rippling outward from her touch like waves on water. It responds differently to you, Ziraval whispered. Usually, only the bonded Lunari can evoke such patterns. Over the next several days, their forced proximity evolved from awkward silence to cautious conversation. Maya learned that Ziraval had been a scholar before becoming a warrior, with a passion for ancient poetry. In turn, she shared stories of Earth's oceans, which fascinated the desert-born Lunari. Your world sounds beautiful, Ziraval, said one evening as they shared a meal. All that water. We consider it precious on my homeworld. I grew up near the Pacific, Maya replied. I used to fall asleep to the sound of waves. That's partly why I became a xenobiologist, to see what life evolved in other environments. As she spoke, the armor's patterns shifted to a gentle, wave-like motion, mimicking the rhythm of her words. It's responding to your memories, Ziraval explained, wonder in her voice. This has never been documented between species. Their conversation was interrupted when the quarantine door slid open and Commander Rex entered. His own armor a harsh contrast of red and black angles compared to Ziraval's flowing purple patterns. The council has made a decision, he announced without preamble. This aberration must be terminated. The human's influence will be purged from your armor. Ziraval. Maya felt a sudden spike of fear, not just her own, but seemingly echoed through the connection with Ziraval. The procedure could damage both the armor and Dr. Chen, Ziraval argued, rising to her feet. The bond formed naturally. Forcing its dissolution could have unpredictable consequences. Your duty is to your people, not this. Human Rex spat the word like a curse. The purging ritual begins tomorrow. After he left, Maya noticed Ziraval trembling slightly, the armor's patterns chaotic and disturbed. What is this purging ritual? She asked quietly. A ceremonial separation, Ziraval answered. But it was designed for rejecting incompatible Lunari bonds. Not, whatever this is between us, will it hurt you? Ziraval met her gaze. That is not your concern. It is if we're bonded, Maya countered, surprised by her own protectiveness. That night, as station lights dimmed to simulate evening, Maya awoke to find Ziraval sitting beside her bed, the armor glowing softly in the darkness. I could not sleep, the warrior admitted. The armor senses your dreams. It wants to be near you. Half awake, Maya reached out, her fingers brushing against Ziraval's hand. The armor flowed between them, creating a bridge of light. I don't want them to hurt you, Maya whispered. Nor I you, Ziraval replied, her fingers intertwining with Maya's. Perhaps there is another way. Forbidden frequencies, the purging chamber resembled an ancient temple more than a medical facility. Circular in design, its walls were inscribed with Lunari symbols that pulsed with a dull red light. Maya stood nervously beside Ziraval as Lunari elders in ceremonial robes arranged crystalline devices around the central platform. "This doesn't look very scientific," Maya whispered. "The Koran bond transcends pure biology," Ziraval explained quietly. "The purging combines technology with spiritual practices from before we reached the stars." Commander Rex entered, flanked by 2 guards. "The ritual is prepared. The human will remain at the perimeter." "Dr. Chen stays with me," Ziraval countered, her tone leaving no room for argument. "The bond affects us both. She should be present for its dissolution." Rex's eyes narrowed, but he nodded curtly. "As you wish. But she will not interfere." As the ritual began, elders chanted in the ancient Lunari tongue, while technicians activated the crystals. The air filled with harmonic frequencies that made Maya's teeth ache. She watched as Ziraval was positioned at the center, her armor responding to the sounds with erratic patterns. "Phase 1, Separation Identification," announced the lead elder. The crystals intensified their output, and Ziraval gasped in pain. Maya instinctively moved forward, but a guard blocked her path. "Stay back, human," Rex warned. "The process has begun." Maya watched in horror as the beautiful purple hue of Ziraval's armor began to dull, the vibrant patterns growing sluggish. Worse, she could feel an echo of Ziraval's pain through their connection, a burning sensation that spread through her chest and limbs. "Something's wrong," Maya called out, noticing how Ziraval's breathing had become labored. "Her vital signs are destabilizing." "Continue the ritual," Rex ordered, ignoring her concern. The crystal's hum intensified, and Ziraval collapsed to her knees, the armor now flickering erratically between purple and a sickly gray. Unable to stand by any longer, Maya broke past the guard and rushed to Ziraval's side. The moment her hands touched the armor, the purple luminescence surged back to life, pushing back against the ritual's influence. "Stop the ritual," the lead elder commanded, seeing the unexpected reaction. "The bond is strengthening, not weakening." Rex stepped forward, fury evident in his stance. "Remove the human." But as the guards approached, Ziraval's armor expanded outward in a protective shell, enclosing both her and Maya in a cocoon of pulsing light. Inside this protective bubble, the outside world became muffled. Maya could feel Ziraval's consciousness brushing against her own, no longer just sensing emotions, but sharing thoughts. "The armor is protecting us both." Ziraval's voice echoed in Maya's mind. "It considers you part of me now. Is that even possible?" Maya asked, amazed to find she could respond through thought alone. "No Lunari has ever bonded with an offworlder. We are ... unprecedented." The cocoon of light pulsed brighter, and Maya felt a surge of something she couldn't quite name, a warmth that began in her chest and spread throughout her body, carrying with it impressions of Ziraval's life, childhood on a world with 3 moons, years of rigorous training, and underneath it all, a loneliness that resonated with Maya's own. Outside, they could hear the elders arguing with Rex. The protective shell slowly retracted, revealing a chamber in disarray. The crystals had shattered, and the elders stared at them in astonishment. "The bond has deepened beyond our ability to sever," the lead elder announced. "It appears the armor has fully accepted the human as Sakura and soul partner." Rex stepped forward, his own armor flaring red with anger. "This is an abomination. It undermines the purity of our traditions." "Or perhaps," countered an elder with silver markings on her robes, "it represents an evolution. The ancient texts speak of the armor's wisdom exceeding our own. If it has chosen this path, there may be purpose beyond our understanding." Maya helped Ziraval to her feet, noticing how the warrior leaned into her touch without hesitation now. "What happens next?" Maya asked. The silver-marked elder approached them. "You two represent something unprecedented, a bridge between our species on the most fundamental level. This will need to be studied, understood, and celebrated," Ziraval added firmly, her gaze challenging Rex, not purged. As they left the chamber, Maya felt Ziraval's fingers brush against hers, a small gesture, but one that sent ripples of violet light cascading across the armor. "I believe," Ziraval whispered, "that we have much to learn from each other." Battle rhythms alarms blared throughout, Harmony 7, jerking Maya awake from a deep sleep. The emergency lighting bathed her quarters in pulsing red. She barely had time to grab her lab coat before Ziraval burst through the door. Armor already fully engaged and glowing intensely. "Raiders," Ziraval announced, her voice tense. "Scavenger pirates targeting the station's research facilities." "How bad?" Maya asked, pulling on her boots. "3 vessels, heavily armed. Our defense systems have been compromised from within." Ziraval's armor rippled with tactical patterns, displaying information faster than any computer screen could. "There is a traitor aboard?" The station shuddered under an impact, and Maya stumbled. Instantly, Ziraval caught her, the armor extending slightly to stabilize them both. Since the failed purging ritual 2 weeks ago, their bond had continued to evolve, allowing Ziraval's armor to interact with Maya in increasingly sophisticated ways. "We need to reach the central lab," Maya said, steadying herself. "My research, if they get their hands on our findings about your armor, ... That may be their primary objective," Ziraval agreed grimly. They navigated the station's corridors, now filling with smoke and panicked personnel. When they encountered a sealed bulkhead, Ziraval placed her hand against it, and her armor extended tendrils into the control panel, overriding the lockdown. "That's new," Maya noted, impressed. "The armor adapts to protect what we value," Ziraval replied, a hint of warmth in her voice despite the chaos. They arrived at the science wing to find it already breached. 3 raiders in mismatched armor were ransacking Maya's lab, downloading data and collecting samples. "Stay back," Ziraval whispered. But Maya could already feel the warriors' tactical assessment flowing through their Bond 3 opponents. Armed with pulse weapons, vulnerable at their respirator junctions. "No," Maya countered, surprising herself with her certainty. "We do this together." Something shifted in their connection, a new resonance forming. Ziraval's eyes widened slightly in understanding. Without warning, her armor flowed outward, extending a thin layer across Maya's skin like a second translucent bodysuit. "What the?" Maya gasped as the living armor settled against her. "Battle bond," Ziraval explained quickly. "It will protect you and enhance your movements. Follow my lead." They moved as one into the lab, Ziraval's combat expertise guiding Maya's movements through the shared armor. When a raider fired, Maya found herself dodging with reflexes she'd never possessed. The armor anticipating the attack milliseconds before her conscious mind registered the danger. Ziraval engaged the first 2 raiders directly, her movements fluid and devastating. Through their connection, Maya understood exactly when to disable the lab's power grid, plunging the room into darkness that only the purple glow of their shared armor illuminated a tactical advantage that disoriented their opponents. The 3rd raider lunged at Maya with a vibroblade. Without thinking, she caught his wrist, the armor strengthening her grip until he dropped the weapon with a cry of pain. With Ziraval's combat knowledge flowing through her, Maya executed a perfect takedown maneuver. "Behind you!" Maya called out, sensing rather than seeing a 4th raider entering the lab. Ziraval spun, but not fast enough. A concentrated energy blast struck her side, sending her crashing into a bank of equipment. Maya felt the pain through their connection, like it was her own body wounded. Rage and protectiveness surged through Maya, emotions so powerful that the armor across her skin flared brilliantly. She charged the attacker, moving with borrowed skill and enhanced strength. The raider barely had time to register surprise before Maya neutralized him with a series of strikes that left him unconscious. Maya rushed to Ziraval's side, the armor between them rippling anxiously. "You're hurt." "The armor is already healing me," Ziraval assured her, though Maya could feel the pain pulsing through their bond. "Your concern accelerates the process." Their moment of recovery was interrupted by Commander Rex striding into the lab with a security team. "The main raider vessel has been disabled," he reported, then paused. Staring at the thin layer of armor covering Maya, his expression hardened. "What abomination is this? You've extended your sacred armor to a human?" "She fought to protect this station," Ziraval replied, rising to her feet with Maya's help. The armor recognized her warrior spirit and responded accordingly. Rex approached them slowly, his gaze calculating. "One of the captured raiders has implicated a high-ranking Lunari in coordinating this attack, someone who wished to steal research on bonded armor for the black market, who?" Ziraval demanded. "The evidence points to you, Ziraval," Rex announced. Your unprecedented bond with this human has made you a security risk. You are hereby relieved of duty and will be confined until transport to the Lunary homeworld for trial. Harmonious evolution. The holding cell was sparse but comfortable. Diplomatic courtesy that Maya suspected had more to do with preventing an interspecies incident than any real concern for their well-being. She sat beside Ziravel on the single sleeping platform, their shoulders touching, while the armor continued to flow between them in gentle, soothing patterns. I can access limited station functions through the armor's connection to the environmental systems, Ziravel murmured. It's searching for evidence of Rex's communications. Maya nodded, still amazed at how naturally they communicated now, sometimes with words, sometimes with thoughts, often with both simultaneously. He seemed prepared for the raiders, and too quick to accuse you. The Vorash ceremony would have given him control of my clan's military resources, Ziravel explained. Our bonding disrupted his ambitions. So selling armor research would give him power through different means, Maya concluded. But we need proof. They sat in companionable silence, the armor working through station systems in ways Maya couldn't fully comprehend, but could somehow sense. She found herself studying Ziraval's profile, the proud angle of her jaw, the subtle patterns in her purple-hued skin that complemented the armor's glow. You're staring, Ziravel noted, turning to face her. I'm still trying to understand this, Maya admitted. A month ago, we were strangers from different worlds. Now, I can feel your thoughts, your emotions. Does it disturb you? Ziravel asked, a hint of vulnerability in her voice that would have been undetectable to anyone without their bond. Maya shook her head. It should, but it doesn't. It feels right, somehow. The armor between them brightened in response to their emotional connection, creating intricate patterns where their skin touched. Among my people, Ziravel said softly, the Koran bond is considered the highest form of connection. Not merely physical, but a union of spirits. On Earth we have many names for it, Maya replied, feeling suddenly shy despite their mental connection. Soulmates. Kindred spirits. Ziraval's hand found hers, fingers intertwining. The elders say the armor never makes a mistake in its choices. Perhaps its wisdom exceeds our limited perspectives about who can belong together. The moment was interrupted by a subtle shift in the armor's patterns and alert. Ziraval's expression sharpened. The armor has found something. Communications between Rex and the raider vessels, encrypted but recoverable. Maya felt a surge of triumph through their bond. How do we get this information to the station council? We don't, came a cold voice from the doorway. Commander Rex stood there, flanked by 2 guards with weapons drawn. Your armor's intrusion into secure systems was detected. Treason upon treason. Ziravel rose slowly, positioning herself slightly in front of Maya. The evidence has already been transmitted to the Lunary High Council and Earth's diplomatic corps. Your betrayal is exposed, Rex. Fury twisted his features. Then there's no reason to maintain this charade. He raised his weapon. The raiders may have tragically killed both of you before help could arrive. What happened next unfolded in a blur of motion and light. As Rex fired, Ziraval's armor surged outward, encapsulating both her and Maya in a protective cocoon. Within this shared space, their consciousnesses merged more completely than ever before. Trust me, Ziraval's thoughts flowed into Maya's. Accept the bond fully. Maya surrendered to the connection. Feeling the last barriers between them dissolve, the armor responded, no longer moving between them, but fully encompassing them both as a unified entity. When the protective shell retracted, they moved in perfect synchronicity, their combined reflexes and strength overwhelming Rex and his guards before they could fire another shot. The station alarms triggered again, but this time announcing the approach of a Lunary diplomatic vessel. By the time the Lunary elders arrived, Rex was secured and his conspiracy exposed. The evidence was irrefutable. He had orchestrated the raid to steal the armor research, planning to sell it to separatist factions in the Grand Council chamber. Maya and Ziraval stood before representatives from both species, their shared armor glowing with unprecedented brilliance. What we are witnessing is evolutionary, declared the silver-marked elder who had defended them during the purging ritual. The armor has always guided our development as a species. Perhaps this is its way of guiding our next step toward true cooperation with humanity. The human ambassador studied them with fascination. Dr. Chen, are you? ... Well? The neural readings we're getting from you both are unlike anything we've documented. Maya smiled, feeling Ziraval's presence harmonizing with her own consciousness. I've never been better. What we've discovered goes beyond biology or diplomacy. The armor doesn't just connect us, it shows what's possible when we truly understand one another. We request formal recognition of our bond, Ziraval announced. Not just as a personal union, but as a new diplomatic category proof that our species can integrate on the deepest levels. The councils deliberated for days, running tests, consulting experts, and debating implications. Throughout it all, Maya and Ziraval remained united, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. On the final evening before the decision, they stood together in the station's observation dome, watching the 3 moons of the Lunari homeworld rise over the horizon. No matter what they decide, Maya said, leaning against Ziraval's shoulder, this is real. What we've found together, the armor knows truth that politics cannot change, Ziraval agreed, her arm sliding around Maya's waist. Though I admit I hope for their blessing. My people value tradition, and if they don't approve... Ziraval turned to face her, the armor between them forming intricate, beautiful patterns that matched the stars visible through the dome. Then we create new traditions. Together. The next morning, the Joint Council announced their decision, official recognition of the first human Lunari bonded pair, with a new research initiative to be established under their leadership. The diplomatic implications were enormous, a physical demonstration that their species could connect on fundamental levels as they stood before the assembled dignitaries, the armor flowing seamlessly between them. Maya felt Ziraval's pride and joy as if it were her own. What had begun as an accidental touch had evolved into something neither species had imagined possible, a bridge between worlds, resonating with both scientific and spiritual significance. The universe, Maya whispered to Ziraval, as they sealed their formal union with a touch that sent cascades of light flowing through the living armor, has a funny way of bringing people together. Not funny, Ziraval corrected gently, her thoughts flowing warmly through their bond. Wise, around them representatives of both species applauded, some enthusiastically, others still uncertainly, but all recognizing that the boundaries between their worlds had just been fundamentally redrawn, opening possibilities that would resonate across the stars.